In the winter, in the snow, there was a whistling of wind. Could you give me a whistling of wind? There was a rumbling of snowstorm thunder. Never heard that before. And once they'd warmed themselves by the flames, the stepmother, the stepsister, they started to trudge off from the circle, looking for the apple tree that gave them the apples. But now the wind was so cold, and how hard did it blow? And there, oh yes, and the sea came back. The settler was there. She was angry as well. And there, the wind and the rain and the snow and the cold, it started to blow. Still they trudged on, waiting for the apple tree, until they could not go any further. And they froze, still, solid, probably dead. In the winter, in the snow, in the wild woods, in the cold, in the season where nothing grows, in the winter, in the snow. With a great sweep of that mud-muscled arm, the river god pulled down and swirled down his white-dressed daughter into a swoosh and a swirl of the river, until suddenly it was once more calm, as if nothing had happened at all. What else to do? He ran back to his mum. She held him again as she'd always held him. She saw through his eyes and into his soul that there was nothing that she could say. And there was no words in the morning. But she remembered something she'd always thought she would give him, a gift that had been hanging in the eaves of the roof, a small Welsh harp. He'd never played it, and she hadn't had the time to play it since he'd been born. But she said, take this because you might find that it gives voice to how you're feeling. He took the harp and he went down to the place amongst the willows beside the river. He sat down on the river bank and he found somehow that his fingers plucked the strings, found the rhythm and the routine. Found that within the swell of the music at his hands came a voice from within. River roll, river flow, swirling waters tumbling free, always finding your own way through, rushing down to the sea. And there, still standing with his antlers upon his head, was a great stag of Sligo. And the mother eagle landed in front and said, Brother Stag, my chick tells me that there was a colder night than last in the beginning days of the world. The old blackbird says that you're even older than her. Tell me, have you known about that? I'm old, said the stag, as old can be. I came to this field, and every year as my antlers have fallen off my head, I've created a fence that goes through this field and around the whole of Ireland 3 times. That's how old I am. But in all my old years, I've never known a night as cold as last night. But I'm not the oldest animal in Ireland. You should go and see the blind salmon of Mayo. He's as old as anybody, and he'll know what I'm talking about. The wind and the wings, and there she was landing by the banks of the River Moy, the beautiful silvery snaking River Moy, and there in the shallows was a salmon just taking the last, or the first rather, rays of sunshine, no eyes in his socket, and there he was in the shallows. She landed and she spoke to the salmon. My chick tells me there was an older, colder night than there was last night, and the stag says that you, being old, might know something about it, and a little speech bubble came out of the river. He says, I am old. I'm so old I remember a colder night at the beginning days of the world. It was so cold that the river was kneeling freezing around me. People left for warmer climates, but as I swam up and down the river, I flicked my tail too hard and landed up in the air, so wet up in the air, and landed on the ice beneath me. And there I would have died had it not have been for the old crow of Achill, who was clattering along on his wings. He saw me there on the ice. He dropped down and pecked a hole in the ice back to the river, but not before he took out my eyes. Which is why I'm called the blind salmon of Mayo. There's a river that carries us all along, and if you listen you can hear its gentle song. Every moment that we know is a drop in the flow of the river that carries us all along. And now it's our standing together with the trees time. It's a time where we remember the trees because they're in their naked state. So we all take off our clothes when we go. Oh, sorry, that was last night. This is it's the afternoon one. It was the youngest son who inherited the whole of the farm. And this was a tradition in Dorset because the oldest ones were expected to be on their way and having a farm of their own, and the youngest one would stay with the parents until the parents died and they would inherit the farm. But the oldest son was still living on the farm, and now he had to go, cap in hand, and ask for a place to live from his younger brother. Well, said the younger brother. You said that as well, didn't you? Yeah. Let's do it again. Well, said the younger brother, you can have the old shed that's up on the hill. You can have the little orchard that grows around it. You can have the old stable and any animals that are left in life. But, and I do have a big but, said the brother. And he was just about to drink the half glass when he remembered what he should be doing at this time of year in the beginning of January. He should be wassailing the trees. And so he went out into the orchard and he found the oldest of the trees and he addressed it as the apple tree man, and he raised up his glass and he sang to the tree. Old apple tree, we wassail thee and hoping thou will bear. Say that. Old apple tree, we wassail thee and hoping thou will bear. For who knows where we all shall be at Apple Day this year. For who knows where we all shall be at Apple Day this year. For to grow well and to blow well and merry all let us be. For to grow well and to blow well and merry all let us be. Let everybody raise up their cup and drink to the old apple tree. Let everybody raise up their cup and drink to the old apple tree. And he had a quick, sneaky little slurp for himself. And he took the rest of that cup and he poured it onto the ground, a libation to the land and a toast to the tree. And as he stood back, there must have been a magical kind of breeze, because the branches started to move on the old apple tree. They almost started to look like arms. And the trunk of the tree, the bark, almost started to look like a wizened old face. And as he looked, he thought he could almost see the apple tree man himself. Is that you? Said the apple tree man. I do like a drop of my own juice. We've got a fine orchard here of which all the trees will be toasted in the right time. But for the ceremony to carry on, we need one tree to be chosen to be the representative of the whole orchard. So, could we have some music? Sue, have you packed away? Has anybody got any music? We all packed away. Let's do it to the theme tune of the Archers. Yes. Salu and John, if you can have a little parting of the ways in the middle here, and Salu and John will lead us to the tree of their choice. Come with us. There's a wind that blows in the air. If we listen, we can hear its gentle sound. And there's nowhere else to go. Let it blow, let it blow.